hold on. I'll start with this Twitch personality clip from
Hey, for 8 hours or more,
wbur.
Hasan Piker is live on the video game streaming platform Twitch.
Hold on.
He is a socialist, left of the Democratic Party, and his commentary sometimes runs afoul of content rules. He shares his political views on Twitch with a dedicated community of viewers, many of whom are young men. Now, Hasan Piker has been viewed as a left-leaning Joe Rogan, brash and broy, and someone who could bring young men to the Democratic cause. Ben Brock Johnson and Amory Sievertson of WBUR's podcast Endless Thread wanted to know more about who Hasan Piker is influencing and how.
Whatever you've heard of Hasan, whatever you think of him, however you found him, or if you've never heard of him or found him, let's start with some simple facts. His parents are Turkish. His father is a political scientist and economist who has helped support the Future Party in that country in opposition to the right-wing Justice and Development Party. His mom is an architectural historian teaching at the Institute of Technology in New Jersey.
And Piker's uncle started the Young Turks, the popular progressive news network that began on the radio, jumped to YouTube, and is now played on some television channels.
You're heading off a cliff, dude, and you don't even realize it.
Hasan's of an even younger generation than the Young Turks. He's on YouTube, but he's most established on the video game streaming platform Twitch, where people watch other people play video games. And in Hasan's case, people watch him talking about politics. But if you're going to stream on Twitch, you're probably going to do both.
The first time I came across him was when, in the election of 2020, he streamed a Get Out the Vote game of Among Us with Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar. When you watch this video, as AOC gets onto the stream with Hasan, he seems pretty psyched.
We came a long way.
Here we go.
From 15 people watching me play Fortnite with Felix Biederman to playing Among Us with the top content creators and also two of my favorite politicians.
The Among Us stream, just a little more than an hour-long total, netted nearly 7.
It's pretty crazy because, like, you say, oh, the boomer understanding of, like, Twitch and what you do is so antiquated. But you also have to understand that, like, these guys are probably closer to developing a solid understanding than the average boomer anyway. These are the people who are educating the boomers on what this environment looks like.
700,000 concurrent viewers. Just to give you a sense, that competes with the prime viewing period between 8 and 11 p.m. of CNN, which, by the way, is also putting Hasan on.
Piker was 29 back then, and about to watch Biden sweep into office and topple Donald Trump's attempt at re-election in the midst of a brutal pandemic. When you watch this 4-year-old stream, Hasan seems legit giddy at what's happening. And it's this odd combination of video game nerdery and progressive political energy. Or maybe it's not that odd of a combination.
Hasan Piker represents a huge change in the way people consume information in 2025, especially digital natives, people who have only really been around after the internet and computers.
Oh,
Increasingly, they don't
I didn't even blast off yet.
compartmentalize their different flavors of content. They don't go to one place for news, another place for lifestyle, information, etc. They go to the same place for all the things. And usually that same place is not a brand, per se. It's a person.
We wanted to hear from some of these people, so we reached out on Reddit and got a bunch of responses. Some Hasan fans have requested that we only use their first name because, well, Hasan takes political positions that some employers might view as extreme.
I had gone through different posts, reading comments, because I just basically view reading Reddit as like people watching, and kind of bookmark Hasan in my head as like, I got to figure this guy out.
This is Janet. She's in her early 40s.
Okay. A 40-year-old woman. A 40-year-old woman on Reddit is, I mean, I don't know if this is my demographic profile. I hope. I mean, shouts out to Janet, but that's not.
Lives in Colorado. Goes against a few of the larger characteristics of Hasan's audience, but she's part of a growing demographic.
Percentage of male went down. Percentage of female went up. We're up big.
That's Hasan streaming his annual Hasanabi community census on Twitch. Hasan's subreddit lists, quote, 151,000 comrades as its follower count, which is where we found Janet.
Janet started out reading Hasanabi hate on Reddit, but she's a comrade now. She's watching his Twitch stream every day.
And it's not just Janet as a hater, of course, because she came from Reddit. That's why.
My toddler gets a little bit of TV time in the morning, so when Hasan starts, the TV goes off for him and we throw him into lunch. He knows the Hasan is streaming song and we'll start doing sign language for food when that song comes on, so I've kind of ruined the baby, but
A number of the people we talked to watch and listen to Hasan while at work or while doing schoolwork. But Janet's home with her baby, so...
It's on my 80-inch television. It's in the front of my living room. We have a really open floor plan, so I can hear it while I'm cleaning, while I'm hanging out with the baby, doing flashcards and whatever. He's basically just like our talk radio during the day, except we get to look at him.
We heard this a lot, actually. Hasan as replacement for the radio.
But he's streaming video, too, so it's pretty similar to cable news. And while it's not a 24-hour Hasan cycle, it is 7 days a week, along with a serious regimen of weight training, which you kind of have to do if you're sitting in a gaming chair for that long every day. He has a background team running a Discord chat, doing video graphics, and managing the community behind the scenes.
This consistency has, over time, just grown his reach, which in turn turned the heads of the people trying to run the country.
What do we got? Do we got a blast off meme or what? Do we have a blast off meme? To my entire background team, which is all 12,361 of you. I wish it was 24 hours. I would kill myself. That's not a good blast off meme. Oh, quote this. Here's your blast off. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been charged with 21 counts of rape and offenses by UK police. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. What is this? On June 28th, Hasanabi and Will Never Go on Dog for Dog. Where is this coming from? When did this happen? We did not. Are you guys just like making stuff up now? You're just making events up for the future, hoping that it lands? Is that what's happening? You're just like, oh, if I tweet it, it will manifest it and then it'll happen. Is that what your suspicion is? Because it's not. That's not how this works. Manifesting my streamers dogging? Yeah, just raw dogging some dogs. Is that what it is? The manifesting my streamer gobbling some glizzies. Okay, whatever. I blasted off. None of you gave me anything good, so I just used the Trump taco take. Okay, let's blast off. Let's let the people know we are live. We are live. What the hell? What the heliante? Will Neff's alternate account where he's doing the 9 for 9 challenge when we go into the Doyers game. Oh yeah, I'm down to do that. All right, let's keep going.
In the last election, Hasan was invited to the Democratic convention. He was looked at by many in the run-up to the election as Exhibit A that Kamala Harris and company were talking to the right people to help them talk to the people who were going to vote. But then, the other team's podcast Reach Out game turned out to be a lot more full-on.
The following is a conversation with Donald Trump on this, the Lex Friedman podcast.
How long have we been talking?
A long time.
Let's go.
Probably like 3 hours.
I got to make a speech.
Ever since, Hasan has been on what almost feels like a group therapy tour, talking to a lot of legacy media organizations and helping to explain to them how they could have possibly missed this thing that the polls really bore out, that young men were breaking for Trump.
I think Trump speaks to male insecurities better. It's not necessarily flooding the market with like a bunch of liberals. Like, oh, if we had like 8 more Pod Save Americas that kind of look like me, for example, like more bro-y, right? Then that would be fine. It's like, no, you can't podcast your way out of this problem. There was a list that...
And yet, it seems like if the Democratic Party could podcast or stream its way into the hearts of young men, Hasan could be their guy. Because he courts more than the Janets. He also courts a lot of Jadens.
24-year-old Jaden didn't find Hasan Piker in his hometown of Heber Springs, Arkansas.
It's a pretty close-knit community. A lot of people know each other. A lot of people will go to the same church, for example. All the beliefs of everyone are pretty much shared throughout the entire community.
When Jaden started to spend more time online in high school, he discovered perspectives that didn't really match the homogeneity of Heber Springs.
And when he went to the
Yeah, I think this is Hasan getting on fresh air got to be a recession indicator. I feel like is this the same exact NPR piece, or is it like slightly tweaked? Is it the same? Incredible piece from wbur, Boston NPR, on how journalists' understanding on the role Ansar Allah played changed over my interview with a young Yemeni influencer who we all collectively dubbed Tim Houthi Chalamet. I don't think that they brought that. I don't think that they brought that up. Did they? Did I miss that part? They talk about the recent ban at the end. All right, there's like 2 minutes left.
University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, his own belief structure started to shift even more. Jaden says straight up that the only reason his belief structure has changed is because college and the internet.
Which is where he found Hasan.
I thought that the way he broke down certain topics was just really easy to understand, easy to digest.
Digest what exactly? Hasan's worldview.
Whether it's American foreign policy being ultimately damaging to the world, or whether it be an advocacy for enshrining abortion rights in the Constitution, gun control, like reasonable gun safety measures that must be implemented, focusing on universal health care and free college education.
Of course, some of that worldview is reflected by planks in the Democratic Party's platform. Other stances, particularly on international issues like the war in Gaza, put Hasan at odds with many Democratic lawmakers. Representative Richie Torres, a Democrat from New York, has repeatedly accused Hasan of anti-Semitism. And last week, Twitch suspended Hasan's account due to comments he made following the killing of 2 employees of the Israeli embassy outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in
No, that's not why. God damn it.
Washington, D.C. So it remains to be seen if Hasan's massive viewership will find a meaningful alliance with either major political party.
I mean, it's not misinfo. They're boomers. They don't know any better. It wasn't because of the comments. It was because of the manifesto being read at all. Did you listen to Chapo 936, Ryan Grimm and Jeremy Scale talking about you being targeted? Very good, Eb, about the targeting of journalists. Yes, of course I did. They released it. They removed it from the paywall. I watched it. I listened to all the Chapo episodes whenever I can. They're boomers, man. It's like that statement is no different than them being like, Twitch is a gaming website, you know? It is what it is.